Hey everybody, it's Graham Coath. It's really, really hot this afternoon. If you're listening back to this on Spotify, I hope you've got a fan. But keep the fan quite low in volume so that you can actually listen to what we're saying. But it's just so hot today, and I'm going to be talking to someone that's hot property in the music game. It's Jazz Patterson. But first of all, ladies and gentlemen, you need to listen to the message from our sponsors, which is this. I need to get going, Mel. I'll see you later. Jazz, thanks so much for joining me. And you're coming all the way from where was it in America?
Clarksville, Tennessee. It's like an hour north of Nashville.
Whoa. Does that whole Nashville thing still come into play where you are? I mean,
well, Nashville,
did you grow up with line dancing?
I did not. I grew up in Arizona, actually.
Right.
So I've been all over this country. Yeah, I used to live in Florida too, but Nashville is very different from the Clarksville scene. There isn't that much of a metal scene up here. I tend to go down there for stuff.
Yeah, really? Okay. Have you ever caught the last train?
No, I have not. There isn't a train here yet. They thought about building a train, and then it didn't go through.
Oh, so the last train to Clarksville. That famous song just never happened.
Yeah, I mean, it might have. But there's train tracks near my house, but it didn't come from Nashville. So
there you go. So growing up, what sort of music did you listen to? Did you go to church? Because it seems to be a common theme of late when I interview people.
Yeah, I did go to church a little bit, not very consistently. So I didn't join the church choir or anything like that. I grew up listening to country because my parents, that's all they would play on the radio. Because my dad was into heavy metal and rock, and my mom was just like, no, we gotta protect the kids. We're gonna listen to country growing up, okay? And my first time on stage was actually, I went to the Arizona State Fair and Big and Rich played, and the country station was doing this giveaway where if you wore their merch, they would upgrade you to the front row, and they upgraded me and my mom to front row. Big and Rich came off stage and was like, you have the cutest freckles I have ever seen, and then invited me on stage, and I sang a cappella with them, and then they gave me an acoustic guitar.
Cool.
With, Science, which I actually still have.
Oh, fantastic. So that was kind of the start of it for you. But you said in there that it was your dad used to listen to heavy metal. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did not get my music taste from him.
Right. Okay.
No, not at all.
No, tell me what your dad was listening to though, because presumably you have gone back and listened to what your dad used to listen to now.
I mean, not really. He listened to the classics. I honestly don't really know what he listened to because I never listened to it on the radio with him. I am more of a 90s metal fan. I listened to a lot of Korn. Like, I'm a huge Korn fan. I'm a huge Evanescence fan. I love Slipknot, OTEP. A lot of people don't like Attila, but I love Attila.
Right.
They're a party metal band, and they're very offensive, but I love them.
Yeah. So what was it about that scene that really piqued your interest?
Well, I really like sounds that aren't your normal thing. Like Korn uses a lot of experimental sounds, and so does Deftones. I really love Deftones. The White Pony album, like all the different crazy sounds they used in their music that people don't normally use. I used to play on this like mini piano. Harpsichord piano. And it was very off key. And I really liked just messing around with the off key notes. And yeah, I really like music that doesn't sound quite right to most people.
Well, So do I. I love a bit of music that doesn't sound quite right to most people. And as you will know, if you've ever watched these interviews, famously, I constantly bring up the old story of when I was about 11, winning a disco dancing competition and being presented with this Pierre Ubu album, which was just bizarre and very angular, and that, you know, had some vocals which were really angry and kind of you know, sonically didn't make sense to any compared with anything that I'd listened to before. But I just liked how difficult it was to listen to. I actually really enjoyed how difficult it was to. Was that a little bit the same for you? You had to kind of learn to completely get into it, or did it just take?
It kind of just took. It started with Evanescence. And I couldn't understand all the lyrics at first. And that's actually how I learned how to sing falsetto, is by listening to Evanescence just over and over in the car. My mom would like get tired of listening to her CDs because I just play them over and over and practice singing to her songs. And then I started talking to other people, and like I went to a garage sale and this guy gave me like a bunch of CDs that were all like from the 90s and early 2000s, like Saliva and POD and stuff like that. Yeah,
well, Amy has got a tremendous voice. Still has you know, a fantastic voice. You listen to the new album?
Of course, yeah. I actually got a tattoo for the new album.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's straight in there with that's the new album.
Yeah, the symbol on the. Yeah.
You know, I mean, they that when they came out, in a way, it was a bit of a seminal moment in music. A little bit like when Nirvana broke out as well. You know, that sound with her voice over the top of that guitar, and then the kind of almost rap, but sung rap section.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like, well, that's different. You know,
yeah,
and the combination of that, you know, tremendous voice, with, you know, with sounds as well, like, you know, like, what? No one had kind of brought all of those elements together in the same way as before, and it really opened up, as you say, that opened up for a lot of other artists, a way forward. Because that sort of music had been made before and was being made prior to them hitting the stage, but they really helped it break big, didn't they? And suddenly there was a lot more of that music, as you say, and then suddenly, you know, the gates opened, and you know, bands like Slipknot were suddenly, you know, up there, getting praise. I mean, again, another amazing singer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that's what people forget sometimes with these bands. I think some ears listen to it and go, because there's the kind of screamo shouting in some of these songs. Some people just listen to bits of it and just go, oh, that's not for me. It's not melodic or whatever. That guy can really sing.
Yeah, he can. Dude, I saw him live when he was sick, and like it didn't sound like he was sick at all. He was amazing. And not all their songs are like that. There's always the slower songs that everybody puts out every once in a while, and like the more emotional songs, you gotta give it more of a chance than just listening to like the angry stuff on the radio, you know? Because once you get into the more emotional stuff, then you get into the more angry stuff, and you start understanding why people like it so much. Like if you go to a metal show and you don't like metal, like I've taken an EDM kid to a metal show and he loved it. He came out a fan.
Now this just proves the point, Jazz. I'm just going to prove the point to you. As I said to you just before we came on, people ask me sometimes, why do you put this on a platform like LinkedIn? Nobody on LinkedIn is going to listen, especially to someone that sings, you know, in this kind of metal style. Absolutely wrong. And in fact, just subscribe to your channel.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
You see,
Thank you.
Like that, boom, fans. You see, and that's what it's all about. Because actually, at the end of the day, good music is good music, is it not?
It is. And I mean, there's so much good music out there now too, because so many people are just putting out music all the time. It's so easy to put music out now.
Yeah.
And I've only got 2 songs out, but I'm trying.
You are trying. So tell me about that writing experience. When did you realize you could do this? When did you realize you had a voice that you and also you could actually write? You wanted to get up there and do this for yourself. You had something to say to the world.
Well, I've always wanted to be a singer since I was little, and went on stage with Big and Rich. And then for a while, I told myself, like, hey, that's not a very responsible thing to do. You shouldn't, pursue it. And then when I started getting into rock, I started thinking, like, you know what? I only have one life. I might as well do it. And then I started taking singing lessons, and my singing teacher was like, why don't we turn some of your lyrics into a song? And we did Black Gloves, which is one song I have on YouTube that's not on all the streaming services. I'm actually working on a remix of it right now because my vocal styles changed so much. But yeah, after the Black Gloves went out and did okay, as far as like releasing a first song at 15 or 16. And yeah, I started pursuing bands. I had no luck. I've still had no luck joining a band. I've joined a few. They never work out.
It's hard work being in the band. It's really hard work.
I've only been to one practice with one band, and then COVID didn't help, but it's just a rotating door of band members that never met. So, but
can I give you a quick bit of advice on that? Quick bit of advice is the best way to get into a band is to find a group of friends first.
Yeah,
it really is the best way to get in the band. My first band was just a group of friends, right? Do you know what? After that group of friends, and when because I joined a band when I was 14. We were just all a group of friends. We just hung around together. We just made music together. It was just very organic. We just wanted to make a noise, right?
Yeah.
When I then went off to university and I tried to join a band, right, have the experience that you just had, right? Trying to join a band, really, really difficult thing to do. Yeah. Because you're trying to join something that's pre-existing in terms of a relationship most of the time. At the end of the day, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for that to happen. The only other bit of advice I give you, because the way that I managed to get into a band at university was I mixed this band one evening.
Nice.
Right. And they had this is a true story, folks. They had a female singer. And when they came off stage, they said, what do you think? I said, well, it was great, except for your singer. Your singer sucks. And the guitarist looked at me with daggers because it was his girlfriend.
Oh.
And yeah. But I thought, oh, I'm going to get punched now. But actually, a week later, he said, she's actually left the band. Do you know anyone that can do this? And I said, I won't do it. Yeah. So I replaced the female. And it went from, that band went from being very nice to very not in a space of a week. Because my vocal style isn't, it's quite rock. Yeah. So I have a loud voice, and therefore the whole style of it changed. Quite a number of the songs stayed the same. But there you go. That's another way of doing it, is to go to a gig and mix the band, and then just tell them that they're rubbish. Worked for me. I don't know. It might not work for you, but
I went to college to do show production, so I should know how to mix, but I'm not good at it. There's too many things now. I'm like, if you give me an analog console, yes. But all the different stuff you can change on every single thing, it's just like, it's a little overwhelming for me. So I actually finally got my studio like set up. So I'm recording vocals and then sending them to other people to mix.
That's a good thing to do, actually. That's a really good thing to do. Is there anybody out there Not the famous bands, obviously, that we all know about and that you've already talked about. But is there anybody out there on the scene that you look up to, that you would that you're trying to get involved in mixing, that you can give a shout out to now, or you know you would like to collaborate with?
None of them are really smaller bands. I like the big bands a lot.
Okay, go for it. Okay, then big bands. Who? Let's take that question and throw it up and put it in the bin.
Okay.
Who if you could get them to pay attention for 5 minutes, who would you like to collaborate with?
I mean, obviously Amy Lee or Jonathan Davis or Taylor Momsen.
Yeah, all of those.
Yeah, all of them. Just all. I want to work with all my favorite bands. That's what I want to do. Or go on tour with them. I'd be cool with that too. They don't have to know who I am. If I open for them, that's enough.
Well, you know, when you open for bands, quite often you end up, working with those bands as well. So that again is a good option. So you've written a couple of songs.
Yeah.
Which order did they come in? Is The Knife the latest one?
Knife and Proximity actually came out at the same time.
Right.
I went to a producer in LA to do those, so he did all the music. I just wrote it and sang it. But I released the unmastered version for like over a year and didn't realize it. And and so I put them back out as singles instead of an album because it was cheaper through the website I did. So yeah, I made a mistake.
Hey, sometimes mistakes are a great thing. A, you learn by your mistakes, and B, if people liked it and it was unmastered, then that's great. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of subject matter, what are you dealing with there in those songs? I mean, The Knife. I mean,
this is usually the part where the podcast gets a little bit awkward. Just bear with me. Okay, so I wrote those songs about when I was molested as a child, and that's what those songs are about. Dealing with that, and then the psychological trauma from that. Knife is about the actual events, and then Proximity is about the psychological part of it. Proximity is really about like feeling sexual energy from people that are around me that it doesn't exist, but I feel it. And it's just like a personal space issue sometimes. And I've gotten over it for the most part, but occasionally I'll still feel it.
Yeah. So, yeah. We're ever so sorry that, you had to go through that in your life. And actually, obviously, so many singers and so many people that have written music have gone through some kind of trauma in their life. And actually, the music is everything to them. One of my first experiences of doing sound was doing sound for Tori Amos. You know Tori Amos?
Yeah.
The singer? Yeah. A little gig that she did in Newcastle, where she'd literally just flown over to Britain, I think, for the first time. And just listening to her sing her song about an uncomfortable situation, shall we say, I was just in floods of tears, and watching her sing it, you could see her dealing with it, and the anger in her. Yeah. I'd love to see you sing your songs, because I bet you get right inside those songs when you sing them. How cathartic is it for you to sing those songs? How important is it for you to have that in your life?
I've actually never performed them yet.
Right.
I haven't had a chance to, because I'm a solo artist right now. I don't have anybody to back me up.
But when you sing, when you sing those songs, when you sing them into the mic and whatever,
Yeah, it is pretty cathartic for me. I think it's more cathartic knowing that other people relate to it and get comfort from those songs, rather
That's wonderful.
Than singing them.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely wonderful. You will get to sing those songs live at some point.
Yeah, at some point.
This COVID thing is, we're beginning to get on top of it, although the numbers are beginning to rise again here in the UK. I don't know what's going on over there at the moment, but you know.
I mean, the mask bans are lifting, but as far as numbers go, I have no idea, because it feels like they're just like, all right, it's over. We're going to sweep this under the rug now. We're just not going to talk about it.
So what's your immediate kind of plan with music? Are you going to write a whole album? Are you looking to try and get a band together? I mean, actually, if you can't get into a band, can we put a band together for you? I mean, is that
absolutely put a band together for me? Like, do it. I've been trying forever. Someone do it for me now, please.
Okay, so everyone that's watching this, if you're good enough, because you have to be good enough to be in Jazz's band, send me the demos, and I'll filter them out, and I'll just give you the ones that are good.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're but you've got to be able to, you've got to be able to play really, really well. What are we looking for? We're looking for a drummer.
Everything.
Everything.
I actually can't play guitar, even though I have two. I still haven't learned. I've had since I was 5 years old to learn that guitar, and I didn't.
So what do you write on? Or you just write via voice, or how do you write at the moment?
I actually write poetry, and then when I go to make it a song, I will usually condense it. Knife was originally had a completely different chorus, and like this random one-off verse I wrote before like the rest of it became the chorus. So I just write how I'm feeling as like a poem, and then I'll go back and nitpick it.
That's really how a lot of people start writing, because writing songs, writing lyrics as lyrics, I think can be really tricky, because if you start writing your thoughts down, and you start writing lyrics down specifically to fit into a song, it kind of gets diluted straight away. I think for a lot of people, unless you're incredibly talented in that way, and you can still express it in that way. But I think for a lot of people, you do actually end up writing. You write a piece, and then try and adapt it slightly to fit around the music, so that to fit around the phrasing, so you can actually sing it, because otherwise you might not be able to fit it all in. It doesn't, and if obviously within that, you may then start to look for a chorus that keeps coming back, because otherwise you don't end up with a chorus and that sort of thing. So really it's a recording project for you at the moment. How many more songs do you think you've got in you at the moment?
I've probably got a whole album of lyrics written.
There we go, folks. There's an album.
There is an album if I get people to help me write it. Right now I'm just working on like side projects with people on the internet. So hopefully there will be some new stuff out. As far as the album goes, I don't know when that is going to happen. But hopefully with these side projects, it'll lead me to the band that I'm working with or something. Yeah.
Listen, I'm being all seriousness. If someone listening to this thinks, do you know what? I really think I could work with Jazz, and they're a fantastic sort of multi-instrumentalist, fantastic, can shred on the guitar as well. There you go. Get in touch. Help Jazz get to the next step. Put the band together. Maybe you need a musical director as well, someone that's can musically direct to help bring it all together. Then you've got a live band. There you go. And then that's it. So the dream is one day you are supporting Amy or Korn or somebody up there, etc. How long do you give yourself? 5 years? 3 years?
Till I'm like touring with them, or till I have the album out.
To what? Sorry.
To 3 to 5 years till I'm touring with them, or like what?
Oh no, yeah. Till you've made it.
Oh, till I made it. I don't know. It's such a hard question, because some people stay independent for so long before they break the scene of like becoming going from indie to like mainstream. I would say I'd love to be there in 5 years. We'll see how it goes. Since I now have the studio going, then I hope that I'm there in 5 years.
Oh no, it will happen. Now, in terms of where people can get your music, so that they know, Where's the best place? Are you on BandCamp or anything like that?
I'm not on BandCamp. I'm on all the major streaming services, so like Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube. I'm on Deezer.
Yeah, well, get yourself on BandCamp as well.
I will.
Get yourself on BandCamp. And the trick is, here's the trick. I'm giving away all the secrets this afternoon, Jess. The trick is get yourself on BandCamp and do a VIP package on BandCamp, right? So that people have to pay for that. That is definitely the way to go. All of the independent artists that I see coming through at the moment, get on BandCamp, slightly different version on BandCamp, not available anywhere else. And, and get a t-shirt.
I actually do. I have a t-shirt.
Oh, wow. There you go. Well, you can sell that straight away on BandCamp.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do that then. Because the platform I'm using to sell it right now, people are like, I don't have an account with them. I'm not going to buy the t-shirt.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about BandCamp. Once you've got an account with, once you've got an account on BandCamp, you're there because you love music. Yeah, and I don't know whether you've been on BandCamp to listen to music yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the great thing is that it's curated by fans, right? So, once you get stuff on there, I'm going to write a little review.
Okay.
I promise that. I'm going to come on. I'm going to write a review, and people can go, oh yeah, look at that. I've got to download Jazz's album, and I'll pay for it as well.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you.
There we go. No, that's fine. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you. And
thank you so much.
and I do absolutely love your music, and I really do wish you all the best for the future. And just keep at it, because it's difficult. It's a difficult road, but I do think you've got something to say, and clearly with what you said a little while ago, this is an important part of your healing, and it's an important part of your life as well. So I think what you've got to say is needed in the world, and therefore we've got to help you along, Jazz.
Thank you.
And you've got a cool name as well, haven't you, Jazz?
Thanks.
There you go. I got lumbered with Graham. You got lumbered with Jazz. That's a much better name to be lumbered with. Jazz, It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers. Bye for now.